RGS.
Yeah. So you guys, does you guys know what is cloud formation template and what is terraform? So till now, what we discussed, something like in AWS, console. So in the AWS console, so what you did, everything through manually, right? How you launch an instance, how you launch instance, something like through manually, right? So you are logging to the AWS console. Yeah, I'm logging to the AWS console. So I'm logging to the AWS console. Then I launched the EC2 instances, right? Through manually. Everything through manually. For example, yeah, the way manually I'm logging to the server, I'm going to the EC2 services. Then I'm launching the instance by using launch instance. So I'm doing everything manually, right? So what is the difference between automation and manual? Is to instance, provision through through automation, something like. So in AWS we have a concept called cloud formation template. What is that? AWS cloud formation a template. Cloud formation template. Cloud formation template is nothing but a cloud formation template is acting as a IAC tool. IAC means, guys, does anyone knows what is IAC?
Infrastructure as a code.
Yeah. Infrastructure as a code. So infrastructure as a code. So you are launching a EC2 instance. It's an instance manually. So you are logging to the console and then you are launching the instance and you are selecting the what are the options. Then you can launch the instances manually. But I don't want to launch the instances manually. I want to launch the instances through code. How we can do it? So in AWS there is a concept called a cloud formation template. There is a cloud concept is there is a concept is nothing but a cloud formation a templates. So AWS designed a code called something like a designed a ISC tool called cloud formation template. So cloud formation template. The same way the same way Azure also. So AWS. So what is IAC? Infrastructure as a code. So we want to build the infra. We want to build the infra through code. We can build the infra. So we don't want to a manual intervention to build the infra. So we can build the infra through code. We can build the infra through code. So AWS provided cloud formation a template. So what is the IAC tools? Guys, tell me now. IAC at tools. IAC means infrastructure as a code. So we need to build the infrastructure as a code. We need to provision the infra through code. Provision the infra through code. Something like so. I have a stack. I have a stack called something like a environment stack called something like a app. Two app servers. Two app servers and one S3 bucket. One S3 bucket, something like one VPC, something like one RDS, one RDS server. So this is my environment. I want this environment. So in AWS or something like Azure, whatever it may be. So manually. So how we can do it through manually? We can log into the console. We can log into the console and launch the instances, two instance app instances and one VPC. The same way RDS also. So I want to build the infra through code. I want to build the infra through code. So through code, how we can achieve that? How we can achieve that? By using IAC tools. By using IAC tools. So AWS is created the CFT tool. The same way Azure also created a tool like ARM, Azure Resource Management a template. So these are this is only worked for this tool is only worked for AWS, and this tool is only worked for Azure. So ARM templates are not using in AWS. CFT templates are not using in Azure. So we need a common language. We need a common tool to develop, to build infra on any providers. We need a common language. So that time HashiCorp designed a tool called as a IAC tool called as a, guys, does anyone knows what is that tool? HashiCorp designed a one tool.
Terraform.
Yes. Who is?
Saleha.
Yeah, you know Terraform, Salia?
I know, I don't know much, but
Yeah.
I know that HashiCorp is the site where we get the Terraform.
Yeah. So HashiCorp created the Terraform. So it will. So this if you know the Terraform language, you can build the infra. You can build the infra on. Give me a second. Build the infra on AWS. Build the infra on Azure. Build the infra on OCI. Build the infra on something like. So HashiCorp providers, Terraform providers 2660. providers, so we can maintain registry.io.terraform. Yeah, so this is the Terraform HashiCorp provided. So something like a browse providers. So HashiCorp provided provided something AWS. So we can use Terraform and we can provide the infra, we can build the infra. So Azure, Google platform, Kubernetes, Alibaba cloud, Oracle cloud infrastructure. So Active Directory, Archive, AWS Cloud Control, Azure Active Directory, Azure Stack, something like 2660, something like 2666 providers, 666 providers. It support the Terraform. It support 2660 providers. Now you got it right, guys. The common language is nothing but, what is that common language? Terraform. Common language, you can use Terraform. You can build infra, AWS, Azure, OCI, Oracle Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, whatever it may be. The Terraform supports 2666 providers. It supports the Terraform. It supports the Terraform. Guys, now you understand, right? If you learn the Terraform, so you can launch the instance, whatever it may be. You can launch the services on AWS, either Azure, either Oracle Cloud or Alibaba Cloud, something like a GCP Cloud, whatever it may be. We can. So the Terraform is supports the AWS providers, something like supports the providers like AWS, Azure, whatever the something like a 2666 providers it supports. Guys, now you understand?
Yes.
Yes, but I have a question.
Yeah.
How we can connect to Azure console by CLI?
Yes, good.
How do we console by CLI?
Yes, yeah. So actually, how you are connecting your console?
Okay.
How you are connecting your console?
Graphically, yeah.
Yeah, how you are connecting? Something like AWS console.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, how you are connecting?
Use my username and password.
Yes, very good. Username and password. So this is the console level authentication, right? This is the by using username and password. This is the console level authentication. Console level authentication. A very good question. Yeah. So something like how you are authenticating your AWS console. So by using the username and password. So here they are providing a portal. They created a portal for to authenticating the AWS, right? Your AWS cloud. So in code, how you can connect with your AWS. So by using the AWS CLI, you can connect your AWS. You can connect your AWS through AWS CLI. So here you are using a username and password. The same way here we have a multiple options. We have a multiple options to connect the AWS CLI. To connect the AWS CLI. So one is nothing but a access key and secret key. One is nothing but a access key and secret key. The otherwise ADFS, you can connect with the ADF active if the Active Directory is enabled in our AWS. So you can use the ADFS. The multiple ways you connect, something like the one way. So credentials can be provided by adding access key and secret key and optional token to the provider block. In the provider block, so where you are launching your instance, So you can provide your access key and secret key. So it automatically connect to the your AWS CLI, then it launches. So the one way. So other way is something like in something like in command line. In command line, you can export your access key and secret key. So this is the other method. So shared credentials and credential files. So if you something like if you are using a .aws and the credentials, so you are providing the same way the credentials in the credentials files. The container credentials, you can use container credentials, instance profile credentials and region. So multiple ways using IAM rail, using IAM role also. So we can access the AWS CLI, mobile assume role, ARN, something like a session name and external ID. Using a web identity also we can use using external credentials also we can connect the server. So these are the different ways to connect the AWS CLI. So initially we started from access key and secret key. We started from access key and secret key. Now you got it?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you use the terraform, we can so if you use terraform and we can build the infra on multiple cloud providers. Now you got it right, guys. Terraform is a IAC tool. Terraform is a IAC tool. Infrastructure as a code tool. How it works? Terraform, how it works? Something like. Now you got it. What is Terraform? Now you got it. What is Terraform? How we can provision, how we can deploy, how we can launch an instance code through Terraform code. So what is the file extension file for Terraform? Something like my first ec2.tf. .tf is the extension for Terraform. .tf is the extension for Terraform. How it recognizes? So it recognizes a .tf files. Okay. How it works? Something like we can. What are the commands? In the Terraform? So how we can install Terraform? How we can run the Terraform? So something like Terraform init. Terraform init is the command, the first command to initialize the AWS plugins and the Terraform, something like a connectivity to establish the connectivity from AWS to Terraform. This or so Azure to Terraform or OCI to Terraform. Terraform plan is nothing but to view the which services are provisioning. Terraform apply. If you apply the Terraform, it will build. It will build the infra. It will build the infra. Terraform, terraform destroy. Terraform destroy. It will destroy or decommission. Decommission the environment. So if it will destroy or decommission the environment. So these are the commands we are using in the Terraform. So what is the Terraform extension? .tf is the Terraform extension. So what are the commands we are using in the Terraform? In the Terraform, we are using terraform init, terraform plan, terraform apply, terraform destroy. So what are the commands we are using? Terraform init, terraform plan, terraform apply, terraform destroy. So init is to initialize and plug in the terraform. Plan is nothing but a which service are need to provision. So apply is nothing but a build the infra. Destroy is nothing but a to destroy or decommission or remove or delete the infra. So these are the main commands we are using in the terraform. These are the main commands. So we are using in the terraform. So how the code contains something like first of in the first. So we are providing something like a providers. So we are giving that. So which provides you want to log in? Which provider? Something like a provider block. Provider equal to AWS. Provider equal to AWS. So this is a layman language. No need to follow the structural form. No need to follow the structural form. Something like there is no functions. There is no something like here. We have some modules are there. We can use that modules and you can write the code and you can build the infra. So providers. Something like who are the provider? Provider equal to AWS. Something like a region. So which region you want to launch the instance. The same way access key, how you can connect your AWS console, how you can connect your AWS access key. Secret key. Secret key. So this is the provider block. So which provider you are using? AWS or Azure or so if you are using Azure, you can use Azure. If you are using something like Azure, OCI, something like IBM, something like Alibaba. Whatever the provider, so you can use the provider block. Now you got it right. So next, the instance. What are the instance you want to launch? So what are the instance you want to launch? So by using the AWS, something like a resource type. The resource is equal to something like AWS underscore instance. So what is the resource you are using? AWS instance. In the AWS instance, something like my server. My server is the name of the server. Something like here also you can write the code. Something like what you are writing here. What you are writing here? EC2. Something like what are the when you launch the instance, what are the options you are selecting? So name is equal to my server. Next AMI. So AMI instance type, key pair, network settings, networking, configure storage. So few of them are the optional, few of them are the required. Few of them are required, few of them are optional. So we can use that AMI instance type and the key pair, security, network settings, configure storage. So EBS. So you can give and you can launch the instance through code. You can launch the instance through code. Guys, now you understand? You understand, guys? How
Yes,
it
sir.
yeah. IAC tools. IAC tools is nothing but a infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code. There are various types of various types of tools that can allow you to deploy infrastructure as a code. So there are various types of tools that can allow you to deploy the infrastructure as a code. So what are the tools? A Terraform is the one of the Terraform, CloudFormation, Heat, Ansible, StartStack, Chef, Puppet, and others. Chef, Pop, and other. So what are the most familiar or most famous is a Terraform. So what is the configuration management versus infrastructure orchestration? So what is the configuration management versus infrastructure orchestration? So orchestration. Ansible, Chef, Puppet are configuration management tools, which means that they are primarily designed to install and manage the software on existing servers. So what is the configuration management tool? So configuration management tool is using Ansible, Chef, Puppet are the configuration management tools, which means that they are primarily designed to install and manage the software on existing servers. On existing servers, after building the infra, they are using the Ansible, Chef, Puppet because of to install the software or to manage or install the software on existing servers. So for example, so I want to for example, so I build the infra. I build the something like 2 app servers, 1 RDS servers, 1 VPC. So after provision the infra, after building the infra only, I want to install the Java Tomcat on the 2 app servers. I want to install the Java Tomcat on the 2 app servers. So this is the Ansible server. This is the Ansible server. So here, so we can run the playbook after building the infra. We can run the playbook. It automatically access to this server. Can automatically access this server and install the Java and Tomcat on these servers. So primarily designed to install and manage. So we are installing the Java and manage. To installing and manage the software on existing servers. On existing servers only, we can use the Ansible, Chef, Puppet. Terraform and CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means they can provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. They can provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. So Terraform, CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means they can provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. So what is the basically use of a Terraform and CloudFormation? So which basically means they can provision the servers and infrastructure. They can provision the servers and infrastructure. So what is the Ansible, Chef, Puppet? These are the configuration management tools. Which primarily designed to install and manage the software on existing servers. Means after provisioning the infra, so the orchestration tools will work after provisioning the infra only. So before it can't install the softwares or whatever it may be. So what is the Terraform and CloudFormation? A Terraform and CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means they can provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. Configuration management tools can do some degree of infrastructure provisioning, but the focus here is that some tools are going to be a better fit for certain types of tasks. Something like for infrastructure building, the Terraform and CloudFormation. For installing and managing the software, they are using Ansible. So this is nothing but a configuration management tool. So this is nothing but a infrastructure management tool. A Terraform cloud formation is the infrastructure orchestration tool, and Ansible Chef Puppet is the configuration management tool. Configuration management tool. Now you got it right, guys? Guys, what is the difference between configuration management tool and infrastructure and infrastructure management tool? Guys, now you understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. IAC infra as a code and configuration management tool is equal to friends. These both are the friends. They both are work together. They both are work together. How it something like first server .tf. This is my Terraform code. This is my Terraform code. So install the Terraform. By using the Terraform, so we can create a new EC2 instance. Create a new EC2 instance in the AWS console. Create a new EC2 instance in the AWS or Azure or a Google Cloud or whatever it may be. So after creating the EC2 instance through Terraform, so EC2 instance, Terraform says like that EC2 instance is running. Terraform says like that EC2 instance is running. After EC2 instance running, from Terraform tells something like Ansible install and configure the application. Something like a Java or a Tomcat. We need to install the Java Tomcat through Ansible. So we can install the Java or a Tomcat, whatever the application softwares we need. So we can install. Now you got it right. So IAC and configuration management tools equal to friends because of Terraform provision the infra. IAC provision the infra. After provision the infra, configuration management tool will be installed and configure the application on the provisioned server, building server, on existing servers. Now you got it right, guys. Terraform. So Terraform supports multiple platforms. Has hundreds of providers. I already showed you, right? Hundreds of supports it provides. Simple configuration language and faster learning curve. It is a simple configuration language and faster learning curve. Easy to integration with the configuration management tools like Ansible. So easy to integration. Easy to integration with the configuration management tool like Ansible. So easily extensible with the help of plugins. So installing a Terraform. How we can install the Terraform? Overview of an installation process. Terraform installation is very simple. You have a single binary and download it and use it. You have a single binary. So you have a single binary file, download it and use it. So Terraform download, and so we can use the binary. We can use a binary file too. Supported platform. Terraform supported platforms. So Terraform works on multiple platforms. These includes Windows, Mac, Linux, FreeBSD, OpenBSD, and Solaris. Now you got it right. Terraform works on multiple platforms, and these includes Windows, it will work, a Mac, it will work, a Linux also, a FreeBSD, OpenBSD, Solaris. So we can install the Terraform on these platforms, and we can provision the infra. How we can download the Terraform? In the terraform.io downloads, in the download part, you can use. If you are using a Mac, you can use the Mac. If you are using a Windows, you can use the Windows. If you are using a Linux, you can use the Linux. So whatever it may be, it's okay. You can download the binary file. You can download the binary and you can use it. Setting the lab. So let's start something like create a new AWS account. You already created a new AWS account, being the course. So first EC2 with a Terraform. Let's learn Terraform. So launching first EC2 via Terraform. So when you want to launch the resource in AWS, there are three important considerations. So when you want to launch the resource in AWS, there are three important considerations. So one is how we will authenticate your AWS. How you will authenticate to the AWS. Guys, tell me how you will authenticate with the AWS.
Access key, then you use access key, then
Yes, access key and secret key.
secret key.
When we
Yeah.
use the access key and secret key, we can connect, we can log into the AWS. We can log into the AWS by using access key and secret key. So which region the resource need to be launched? I already told you, right? So which region you want to be launched the instance. You want to launch the instance on which region. So which resource you want to launch? Which resource? S3 is the resource. S3 bucket is the resource. AWS instance is the resource. Instance is the resource. Something like VPC is the resource. So resource, we can use the resource. So which resource you want to launch? Now you got it, right? Resource is nothing but a service. S3, AWS instance, or a VPC, whatever. So launch an EC2 instance, no auth, no launch. So no auth, no launch. So if you have a authentication, you can build the infra in AWS. You can build the infra in AWS. So my first EC2.tf. So provider equal to AWS, right? Provider equal to this is the code. This is the code we'll building the infra. So AWS is the provider, or Azure is the provider, or whatever it may be. So the providers, you can use the provider. So in which region you want to launch the instance? In which region you want to launch the instance? Access key, secret key. How you can get the access key and secret key? Does you know, guys?
No, me.
Yeah, I will tell you where I need to get the access key and secret key. So that is nothing but a resource. So which resource you want? Something like a AWS instance. AWS instance is the resource. S3 bucket is the resource. This is the name of the instance. Name of the instance. So we need AMI, Amazon Mission Image. So we can take the Amazon Mission Image instance type. So instance type T2 micro or whatever it may be. So few of them are the optional, few of them are the required. So if you use, definitely you need to keep the required things. So the optional, the option will be taking as a default. It's already predefined So if you use the, if you are not using that, so optionals, so it will take the default value. It will take the default value. So resources, AWS instance. So this is the instance, this is the resource. So something like S3 bucket, this is the resource. I will show you that. I will show you something like, so registry.terraform.io. So this is the site. This site you can use something like browse the providers. AWS, these are the providers, right? You can select the AWS. You can go to the documentation. You can go to the documentation. So in which resource you want. So AWS EC2 compute cloud. So these are the resources. So AWS AMI copy, AWS EC2 host, EC2. So EC2 key pair, instance. So this is the resource AWS instance. So if you use the AWS instance, resource AWS instance, so AMI and instance type and tags. So if you want, you can use it, or else the optional things, something like argument reference. Argument references. The following arguments are the supported. AMI is optional. Associated public IP address is optional. Availability zone is optional. Capacity reservation specification is optional. CPU core count is optional. CPU threads per core count is optional. So credit specification is optional. A disable API stop is optional. Something these all are the optional. So we need to provide the required one. We need to provide the required optional. You can give or you can't. Something like these all are the optional. This is the optional. Optional. Yeah, this is the required. So the required field must be specified on the code. So definitely the required field must be specified on the code. So the optional will or will not, may or may not. You can take, you can specify or you cannot specify. So if you are not specifying, it take the default value. So default value for the something like arguments, a default value for the arguments. Now you got it right, guys? Yeah. So this is the code we are using. Something like, so these are the resources in the EC2, right? These are the resources in the EC2. Something like S3 or EBS, EB. So these all are the services. S3 simple storage. In the simple storage, what are the resources? AWS underscore S3 bucket, AWS underscore S3 bucket, escalate. These are the resources. So if you want to use that resource, you can use that resource. Use that resource. S3 control, S3 glaciers. These all are the resources. These are the so VPC. So if you want to use the VPC, you can use this VPC, something like so AWS default VPC. You can use this and you can use this resource. AWS resource, AWS default VPC, default tags are default. Right? You guys understand? So if you want to use the resource, you can use it. You can use it. So provider, a resource, a provider and a resources.
Excuse me, I didn't understand something. Is
Yeah.
that where we get the secret access key and the access key and the secret access key?
Yeah, this is for authenticating the AWS. This is for authenticating the Azure. This is the authenticating the OCI. This is for authenticating the a provider. Whatever the provider you are giving in this provider in module. So we can connect to this. We can connect to the AWS or Azure or whatever it may be. So this is the resource type, AWS instance. I want to launch an instance on a AWS. First, you need to provide the authentication. Then you can launch the resources. So which resource you want? Something like I want to launch a EC2 instance. So what is the resource type? AWS underscore instance. So this is the resource. In the resource, some of them arguments are optional, some of them are required. So what are the required? We need to give. So what are the optional? We don't want to give. So if you are not giving anything on the optional arguments, it will take it as a default. It will take it as a default one. Now you understand?
Yes, but my question was, you said you show us how to get the access key.
Yeah, I will show you. No worries. I will show you. So important learning. Each provider has a resources divided into multiple categories. Each provider has a resources. Each provider has resources. Each provider has S3 has resources, EC2 has resources, Glacier has resources. Everything has a resource. You can use that resources and so you can launch. So each provider has resources divided into multiple categories. Each provider has a resources divided into multiple categories. Resources require certain set of arguments based on the use case. The resources required a certain set of arguments. Argument references I already told you, right? So it is optional and required. So required must be specified on that resource. So if there are optional, so if you can or you cannot, so it will be taking as a default. It will be taking as a default. So providers and resources, we will tell you on tomorrow. Depending, so Terraform supports multiple providers depending on the what type of infrastructure want to launch. So we have to use the appropriate providers accordingly. So Terraform supports multiple providers. Terraform supports multiple providers. So depending on what type of infrastructure we want to launch, so we have to use the appropriate providers accordingly. We have to use the appropriate providers accordingly. So initialization, so I will show you on tomorrow. Something like first we need to initialize the phase. So whatever the services we need, what are the services? It was supports all the services. It supports all the services. So resources are the reference to the individual services which our provider has to offer. So resources are the reference to the individual services. Resources are the reference to the individual services. Which the provider has to offer. So resource AWS underscore instance, resource AWS underscore ALB, so resource IAM underscore user, resource digital version and droplet, whatever it may be, we can use it. So we can use it in the resource block. Guys, now you understand, right? So tomorrow we will show you how to install install the Terraform and how to launch an instance through AWS. So you guys are launched instance through through manual, right? So why I am interrupting the AWS and why I am telling that Terraform. So something like you are launching a AWS instance. You launched a AWS instance through manually. So how we can do it through automation? So then only you will understand what is the difference between manual and Terraform. So once we completed the EC2 instance, then you can understand what is Terraform, how we can do it. So then we can start the S3, IAM, whatever it may be. So once I give the training to the S3, you automatically, so I'm telling you something like a manually, what is the S3, how we can create the S3 bucket in manually. So my task is my task to you guys is how we can provision how we can build the S3 through Terraform. So this is the task. So you already know how to launch the instance, EC2 instance through Terraform. So you can easily understand how we can launch the S3 bucket in the AWS. Guys, now you understand something like IAM. How we can use the IAM in the Terraform. IAM, something like a VPC. So VPC, you can easily understand. So how we can launch the VPC through manually through Terraform, through automation. Now you got it right, guys?
Yeah.
The same way, what you can try it is something like you can. The same way you can sign up the Azure also. Okay, guys. So you can go to the portal.azure.com. Then you can sign up the Azure portal account, and you can try to launch the instance on Azure also. something like you can go through the YouTube videos or whatever it may be, a Google or YouTube videos. So you can launch the instance. Here it is calling as a VM, a virtual machine. So the same way GCP also. The same way GCP also. If you know the any one of the cloud, if cloud provider, something like AWS or whatever it may be, you can easily to learn other cloud providers, something like Azure or something like the terminology is the same. So IaaS, PaaS, SaaS is same, but the difference is between services. Something like here they are using AWS is using the S3 bucket, something like here the way of the concept is underlying concept is same, but the naming convention is different. The underlying concept is same, the naming convention is different. The naming convention is different, right guys? You can try to launch the instance on Azure also. Okay guys, understood? Guys, hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is the task for you guys?
How to build S3 through Terraform.
No. What is your task? So sign up your Azure account, sign up to the Azure account and create a instance in the Azure portal. Okay guys?
Okay.
Yeah. The task is, so you can sign up your Azure portal and launch the instance on the Azure. So I will definitely ask you guys tomorrow. So how many people are did?
Can you come again? I'm trying to write it down.
Yeah. So
Says
sign up your Azure portal, create a account on your Microsoft Azure and launch the instance in the Azure. Launch instance in the Azure. So how you will try, I don't know. So if you go through something like a videos, a YouTube videos or a Google, something like whatever it may be. So tomorrow, so I can ask you guys to verify the something like who are created the EC2 something like who are creating the a VM or a instance in the Azure. Okay guys.
Okay.
Yeah.